What's going on YouTube? It is Cryptic TCG here, coming at you with a first place locals deck profile. So last locals I played Chaos Thunder Dragon. It's a deck that I'm really enjoying right now, and I think is positioned pretty well in the current metagame, especially with Bystials in general against stuff like Voiceless Voice and Snake Eye when you hit the IP. So I went EXO, I played Ninja, Snake Eye, Kashtira, Memento, Melodious, and Tempai. I dropped 2 games the entirety of the day, and I think overall this list is really solid, and there's not much I would change with it. I think the main deck's basically perfect, and there's just 1 or 2 things I would change in the side and extra deck. But anyway, let's get into the profile. So to start with the Thunder Engine for the normal summons, we play the 2 Batteryman Solar. On summon, it foolishes a Thunder. If the Thunder monster is normal or special while it's on the field, mandatory effect summons a token. Um, just gets you started on all your plays. This plus a Bystial or one of the smaller Chaos Dragons gets you to either Seals and Colossus or Chaos Angel with both layers of Protection and Colossus. So depending on which one you prefer. Just a crazy good starter in general. For the Thunder Dragon engine, we are playing 3 OG, 2 Dark, 2 Raw, and 1 Hawk. I think this is the correct ratio overall. I played the deck before without 3 OG, but it just helps you get lights into the graveyard. Also gives you 2 cards in hand to fill your discard for your supplement engines that you play. Dark just gets you to Hawk, which gets you to Colossus, so it's just a crazy card in general. Also, if you hard open it in the end phase, you can pitch it to add another copy of itself. Raw is just recursion, discard to add a Thunder Dragon from grave or banish to hand. If it's banished or sent to the grave from field, summons a Thunder Dragon monster from deck and defense. So it just gives you a free body. Keep in mind though, if the monster's still on the field during the end phase, it returns to the hand. Hawk, discard, summon a Thunder Dragon from grave or banished, and then if it's banished or sent from field to grave, you mulligan X amount of cards in your hand and then you redraw. So yeah, overall I think that's the best ratio for the Thunder Engine, and I don't think I would change anything about this. For the Bystials, we play a pretty substantial Bystial engine because I think they're really well positioned right now. So we play the 2 Libellion, the 2 Druid's Worm, the 1 Magnemute, and we play 1 Sarania and 1 Baldric. Uh, Overall, I think this is correct. Druid's Worm's obviously the best one for interaction. Um, Baldric is also a really good card that people underestimate a lot. The fact that it just banishes an extra deck type by getting rid of one of a light or dark type on your board makes your opponent have to play into really weird game states, especially into Tempai when they go in battle phase. You just summon this and then they have to force to play anything else. Sarnia, I think 1 is correct if you're only playing 2 Libellion. I'm only playing the 1 target for Libellion, so I'm not maxing it out, and it's pretty cloggy at 3. Also, Libellion has some accidental synergy. It's a level 8, and when it summons by tributing a Bystial, it procs Darkest Diabolo, so it can summon itself as well. For the smaller Chaos Dragon stuff, we play the 1 Safer as the normal summon. So this just searches your black and white dragons, and then its recursion from the grave by banishing itself to add a level 8 or higher dragon. It's nice to summon off of Zombie Vampire. A bit of a hand trap magnet, but worst comes to worst, you can just link this off for Striker Dragon, and then you can just banish it for a Bystial and then just end on seals at the very least, so not the end of the world. Then the 2 baby dragons. In this deck, white is the better one just because of all the Thunder Dragons, all the good Thunder Dragon effects are dark, but either or, depending on which one you open. If worst comes to worst and you get into hand trap wars, at least you're going to get seals, because very rarely they ever ash one of these just because it's just one body. But yeah, the baby dragons. And then for the bigger Chaos Dragons, we play the 2 Levier. I think 1 is fine if you just want to cut down on it, but I think 2 comes up a bit too much in the grind. This card is insane right now. 3 different modes, because you have to manage 3 lights and or darks to summon it. If you manage 3 lights, a monster reborn something from the grave in defense, doesn't target. 3 darks, hand up your opponent, shuffle a random card back. And then lights and darks, pops 2 cards on the field non-targeting, so it just forces interaction out of your opponent. Especially with like Snake Eye and stuff, so you force like the IP in the back row, or like the field spell, or against Voiceless Voice where you just pop the back row because it doesn't target. Same with against Melodious where you pop Aria. Just a lot of things that this just gets around, and it's just a big boy. Its effect to summon itself is not once per turn, but the effects on summon are hard once per turn, so that's something to keep in mind. Then the other level 8s, we play the 1 Diabolos and the 1 Zed. Diabolos just summons itself if a dark monster is tributed, including itself. You can tribute the dark monster to make your opponent put 1 card from their hand either to the top or the bottom of the deck, so you hand loop them. Zed, just crazy extension and an extender. You can scale it, pay 1,000, add a banished dragon to your hand. Then destroy it, goes to the top of the extra deck. Then you can summon it from either the top of the extra deck or hand by banishing a light or dark. When it leaves the field, it just goes to the bottom of the deck. So, crazy card in general, but yeah. This came up a few times just to give me more extension, adding back Levias so I can play through, or adding back a Lubellion. So yeah, a solid card in general. Has another effect where you can pay half, send cards on your side of the field, and then send up to that many from your opponent and burn for 300. It never came up, but in theory it can, so it's just something to keep in mind. Then for some of the smaller non-Chaos Dragons, the 1 Brotar, the 1 Ringo Worm. Ringo Worm just gives you access to like a synchro line with Dispara. Also, if you do synchro summon and it's in your grave, you can banish it, get a token, so it's extension. Brotar is just normally something you summon off of seals. Target itself, search either Bystial if your opponent can play through, or if you think your opponent can't kill you and you just want to add follow-up, you can just get a Levier off of this, which is just great extension for the next turn. The next pseudo engine we play is the 3 Mseri, the 1 Happy. 2 names is all you need. I don't think you need to max out on any more. The rank 8 suite is just a broken engine in general, and this just fills up your grave with darks and lights that just help you play the game. So not much to say there. Onto the spells. Probably the best spell on the deck, 3 Melody of Awakening Dragon. So you can add up to 2 dragons from your deck that have 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense by discarding a card. It's not once per turn. The targets for this are Levier, Zed, and Diabolos. So pretty crazy targets that just give you extension. And it's just a card that normally forces interaction out of your opponent. And if they've already used Ash at this point, then this is just so free and it just lets you push through your opponent's boards. Then the only defensive card I play is 3 Forbidden Droplet. I think this is positioned really well right now. This deck is all gas, no break, so we don't really play hand traps. This just lets you fill your graveyard, lets you play around some boards that you can't normally break through. So like the Voiceless stuff through the targeting protection, or against Melodious and their targeting protection, or if they don't play under branded loss, you can use this to stop the gimmick block. And this lets you do some fun damage step shenanigans with Tempai as well. So yeah, overall a really solid card. Then we play the 2 King Sark. I don't think 1 is enough. I think you have to play 2, especially with like runic decks running around, where if they banish this off the top of your deck, then you're just kind of out an entire engine, and I feel like your opponent has to respect this and remove it. So having 2, and where if they out 1, then you just either, if you've already previously searched it for Mseri, or you just rip it off the top. It just gives you so much gas to like push through on the crackback. The 1 Branded Regain, this is the only Lebellion target we play. I think it's the best one though. With this, when you get into a resource game where you just loop Magnum out and just keep adding a Bystial, and then every time you banish, you just add back. So it makes it really hard for your opponent to outgrind you in general. Plus, it just gives you Bodies just help you like chump block if you get into those really like simplified game states. The one Chaos Space, this plus any Thunder Dragon is just crazy on its own. It gets you to a minimum Colossus plus Seals, and depending on the RNG draw you get off this, if you like rip an Emissary or something, it raises the ceiling of your hand so much higher. Just a crazy card in general. And then the last card in the main is one Gold Sark. This is just for the one card Colossus line. Also, it just gives you extension if you really need it. So that's the main deck. 41 cards because we try to hide happy, but we still end up drawing a majority of the time. Onto the extra. So we play for the links. The one Striker Dragon is the link ones, and then our link twos are the one Dark, the one Seals, the one IP, and the one SP. Seals is just the best endboard in the game. IP and SP are kind of standard right now. Dark rarely ever come up, and I can see myself cutting it, but I think it just needs a bit more testing, especially with SP. Just the link climbing is just free. Then for the link freeze, we play the one Unicorn. I just wanted more removal for stuff like Ubel, where they just have like 14 back row that just stay up, generate an advantage every turn, or with like Voiceless. So I just wanted something to help me remove that. So the one Unicorn, and then the Link 4s, the one Apo, the one Access Code. Access Codes, same reason as with Unicorn, just wanted more removal, and it can help you push for game. Appaloosa, you can get your opponent to simplify game states a lot, and then if you just make Appaloosa, normally you're just so far ahead, you just win. Especially if you can protect this with like Hope Harbinger, so they can't just run over this, it just puts you at a much better advantage. Speaking of Hope Harbinger, the rank 8 suite, so the one Hope Harbinger, the one Photon Lord, the one Zombie Vampire, just your utility toolbox. This, if your hand is just really mid, you just want to hit something off the top, plus it gives you knowledge of what your opponent's playing, so this just extends you. If you fear Nib early, you just make this, so you just get a monster negate up. If you're playing against like Branded, you'd normally make this, or if you want to protect Seals or Appaloosa. Another fun thing with this is against Tempai, if they attack another monster and you redirect the attack to this, it skips the step in the damage step where they can activate and go straight to Calc, so they don't get to use their effect to summon from the deck, and then they just lose advantage because of it. The last Xyz is the one Typhon. I'm probably going to swap this out for Phoenix or some other direct removal because this rarely ever came up. And I think that if I need a removal creature, I need something that doesn't lock me out of summoning afterwards so I can extend. So yeah, I think I'm just going to remove Typhon, but it was fine. For the Synchros, we play the one Dispada and the one Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is just a crazy card. This Batteryman Solar plus any Bystial is this, plus Colossus helps you just push through boards, and just a really hard card out for Tempai. Dispada, just extension, and just a really big beater in general. Just same vein as Chaos Angel really, and just allows you to make really creative boards with this. Just allows you to unlock your hand a bit more, depending. And then lastly is the one Colossus. Just a very ignorant floodgate to just sit on the end board with. Sometimes if your hand is like super bricky, you just end on Colossus pass, but sometimes for certain decks that's just enough. Now onto the side deck. So I only side one hand trap, and that's Ash. So play 3 copies of this. I respected Branded a lot and the gimmick lock, and I just wanted more ways to mitigate that. Then for build a board decks, we play the 3 Dark Ruler. Voiceless is just a really hard matchup if you don't open ways like out the stuff that they set up with. Same with Melodious. If they just sit on their board, then you just need another way to crack it. So Dark Ruler I thought was the best out for it, and it turned out that that was correct. Then back row removal, we play the 3 Cosmic and the 1 Duster. This deck really struggles out like stuff where the interaction lies in the back row, especially against like Runic and stuff. Or Rivalry, people are like siding now a lot, especially with like Snake Eye having a hard time playing around it. So yeah, I just wanted more outs to those cards. Then for going first, I wanted something to stop evenly match because this deck hard loses to trap interaction. So I just played the 3 Judgment. Also, if you Judgment like a Tempai normal summon, unless they open specific cards, it's really hard for them to get playing again. So it's just another thing to keep in mind. And then the 1 talents, this will probably be something else, but it was just the 15th slot. It came out once or twice, it was fine. And then lastly, the 1 Grand Tusk. This is just a card that we side in going first to summon off of seals, because if your opponent Dark Rulers you, you can still tribute seals for cost and then summon this. On normal or special, it pops 2 cards on the field, so it turns your negated board into having at least some forms of interaction. But yeah, that's the deck profile. Um, Overall, I think it's a really fun deck, and I suggest picking it up if you want something to test with or something to just enjoy right now in the current metagame. But yeah, so this was my first deck profile. I'm always open to constructive feedback. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And hopefully we'll be back with some more deck profiles and maybe some matches from locals with me playing this deck as well. Hope everyone has a good day, and I'll see you next time.